Sorry, I mute that. I mute that. I apologize. All right. So
Sorry, I mute that. I mute
wait.
that. I apologize.
Okay, now we're good. All right. Please go ahead and please share the what's called. Please share the video. Let's get awareness about TRKA out there, please. Keep in mind I've been streaming all day, so please let me like catch up on my Twitter feed and stuff because I'm supposed to be hosting a space tonight. Tomorrow's the TRKA space. Tonight is about metal. But let's see what TRKA has to offer in after hours. You just took the. Did you read the 8K? The what video? The live link for this stream. I just go you could just go retweet what I just tweeted. Hey Dana. Where's no? It's just the link to the video. The this video. The here. Hold on, Mom. I just sent it to you. YouTube chat. I'll send it to you guys in a second. It's literally just this. There. It's just that. I didn't do the math. I read it. I was talking to my girlfriend, and then you guys were messaging me about an 8K, and then I looked at the chart, and I just had to come live because this is exactly what we've been talking about for a hot minute. Okay, and I just got I get a news article here. I couldn't wait to tell you. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I already read it, Mom. I already read it. Like we're chilling. Like that filing is not bad. Obviously. I mean look at the chart. The filing is not bad. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. We're gonna make a lot of money, guys. This is just getting started. This is just getting started. And we're gonna cover this on the space call tomorrow, but this is just getting started in my opinion. I don't know. Give me 1 second here while I try to do some stuff. Wait. I hold on a second. I just got tagged with Al from Boston and Ham. What did I get? Hey everyone. When? Sorry. I just gotta catch up. Break 30 and she'll be gone. Yeah. I think she's gone regardless. This honestly didn't even need any news. And I literally said that 8 times on stream today. This stock does not need news right now. If we need news, we need it from GNS. Like we need to know the price per share that they are willing to offer, and that's the end of it. Beyond that, we don't need to hear anything from, from anyone on the TRKA board. And yes, you're right. It has been organic gains. All right, let's see. IT, if you're in here, I just got your DM now, bro. You're not taking. Sorry. People are like such trolls. It's so funny. Was there news? Yeah, they dropped an 8K. Sorry, a lot of people are like retweeting my stuff and like my shit's blowing up. All right, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Okay, sorry. So do we even need to buy out anymore? No, we are so early I think that we are so early on this play. You know how we were in GNS, like my entry was 59 cents in GNS and I know people had better entries than I did in our group. But and then I sold it over 7. It was like 724 or some bullshit like that. Like we're that type of early on this one, I think. Like I think that this could be an easy 10 bag. Maybe like anywhere between a 5 to like a 10 times. That's what I like. That's my opinion. I mean, look at the naked short report on it. Like just they had the float shorted as much as they did, right? If you look at the naked short report, you know what? I'll actually just pull it up. Fuck it. Hold on. TRKA. Look. It's over 50%. Literally every single day, but March 7th. It's over 50%. So over 50%. So the stock has been controlled by the shorts all but one day over the past month. Okay? And if we're seeing price movement like we are, and they're shorting it that heavy, that means that they're fucked. TZ, what up? Wait, did you change your name? It says that you're a member, unless you just became a member. Wait. Just oh yeah. What's up, brother? How you doing? My bad. I'm sorry. Long day. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to stream after hours, but then TRKA, went out and dropped an AK. This is so funny. Yo, remember when everybody said that this was done? How about that? Yo, who would be down for a space call like right now? It's trending on CNBC. Oh shit. Oh boy, if we're in it as low as we are and it just started trending on CNBC, that's interesting. I will say that. Bitcoin doesn't even matter in this situation. I mean, this is an extracurricular kind of situation, but Bitcoin right now is coming off of an extended double bottom. It kind of looks like it's setting up for a cup. I need a drink in a moment, but let's see. Holy God, let's go TRKA. Bags. Like we are going ahead and collecting bags right now. People thought that this was done. People thought this was done. Give me 1 second. Let me grab a drink. I might start a YouTube space on this. Give me 1 second. All right. I'm gonna start a YouTube space or a Twitter space. Fuck it. If you guys want to join me, you guys want to join me, but. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. I just started a space. I just invited Roger Hamilton too. And Avid. And we'll see. I can't tell you what's a good buy and what's not a good buy, bro. I'm bullish. But if anybody wants to come join, hang out in the space, ask questions about why I'm so, bullish on the company. Yeah. What's going on with TRKA? They just had an AK. Yo, what up, Glenn? What up, Glenn? I'm gonna give you a mic in a second. We are gonna rip, baby. And a what? And I don't know what you mean. On that. So I'm talking to YouTube chat. I'm also on YouTube, Glenn. I don't know if you're there, but I kind of don't want to sit here and talk to myself. So if you guys want to hop in to space, that'd be kind of fire. Let me go ahead and let me share this, actually. Here, wait. Oh, yo, what up, Con? I'm gonna give you a mic. All right, let me share this. Copy, give you a link. Bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to get this set up real quick. Gotta let the dog out. Bear with me. All right. I got my shit sent out. And can somebody request a mic so I'm not sitting here talking to myself? Anyone? Because, I know you guys are as amped as I am. Tough crowd. Tough crowd. All right, we got a bull flag forming. Let's see. I'm gonna draw it out. If you guys don't know, I am on YouTube as well. I just opened the space that way we could have an open dialogue about what's going on. Do any of you guys from YouTube want to come hang out and maybe grab a mic instead of just chatting? Because that would be fire. Man, this thing is literally just getting started too. Imagine what it's gonna do when like the offer from GNS like is revealed, price per share. Like we're probably talking about just straight vertical candles. Man, oh man. Bitcoin is on its way up off of a double bottom. It is at the 48. We know how the stock has been acting with Bitcoin. So maybe with this push at the 48, we will break this bull flag into the next leg. But that was not a bad filing. I feel like they tried to go ahead and just throw that filing out there, and a lot of people, you know, normally panic at a lot of these filings when they shouldn't have to. But in this circumstance, I think that the shorts are so screwed that they're like they didn't even have the opportunity in order to go ahead and scare people first. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't know. But yeah. I mean, there's a handful of you guys in here. There's a shit ton of you guys on YouTube. If you guys could come to Spaces, that'd be dope. I don't want to sit here and, you know, narrate what's going on. I'd rather discuss the possibilities here. But I really am not going to do that by myself. Smash the like button. Thanks, Greg. But anybody want to ask for a mic? Anyone? 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 Like, I want to see how strong this community is. I mean, we're all just gonna be getting to know each other, and I'm sure everyone is shy. I'm not shy because of, you know, what I do, but, you know, I don't know, just like ask questions, bounce ideas off of each other. Like, I would love to ask one of you guys a question. If one of you guys will, you know, give me your opinion, just please ask for a mic. TRKA, let's see. Bitcoin back down. TRKA trying a trend. Let's see, what do we got, guys? I think we have another leg left in us, at least. It's 6 o'clock. We still have 2 hours of pre-market or PM market here. I don't know anything about stocks. I'm here to learn. Bro, just come into the space and talk to me. That's what it comes down to. Like, let's educate each other. Like, it's just like learn. I don't know. You learn from experience, and every single trade is different. So, I don't know. This is like a triple-headed monster, though. Like I said, we didn't even need TRKA news for this to do what it was going to do. Like, you just look at the data, and the data tells you alone what's going to happen. How does one get on to a space call? Go to my Twitter. Request it. Finally, somebody asked for a mic. Hey, early retirement. How are you? Yo, Early, you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I don't know. I think just seeing what's going on tonight. The last time we had a little bit of a run up. It didn't really last after hours. It wasn't as strong, and it didn't go above. I don't think. Did it? I don't think it went above what it was in regular hours. Did it?
So let me tell you why I believe that this is different than than any trend that you're seeing. Okay.
Well, that's why I think it's different, because it's up after hours and it's kind of staying there.
Oh, okay. All right. Then you and I are on the same page. Absolutely. Okay. So with the I was actually just talking to a gentleman in my community. His name is Neil. He used to own a hedge fund. Okay. And I just clarified with him my view, and he said that I was correct. So I'm just going to run with that premise that I am correct. Being that GNS has approved an offer to TRKA, right? TRKA has to say, like, they don't have to say anything at all, okay? They can either take the time, they have a short period in order to go ahead and make their shares, worth above whatever GNS offers. GNS either, buys the company or they field offers from other people. And either way, like that, you cut it, it's a bullish scenario.
Yeah, but like, how truthful do we think this offer is, though? Just because
It would be fraud.
Tweet, and then he deleted the tweet.
The damage was done. It would be fiduciary fraud. No, because of so many people that saw how many or that he tweeted it, right? Unless he wants to get locked up for defrauding investors, and obviously losing a CEO spot at GNS, then there's no way that he would do that. You know what I mean?
No, you're misunderstanding what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that, yeah, okay, you put an offer in, but it's a bogus offer because there's no details about it. And it was more or less trying to get his stock to pump as well.
No, well, all right. So about his stock, when you acquire a company, and I'm sure you know this, but when you acquire a company, right, the acquiring company usually goes down, and the acquisition usually goes up, right? So with that being said, that would actually hurt his share price in theory. Now, in the long run, I see it being a positive thing, right? But what my thoughts are he was talking with TRKA. They went ahead and he was like posting about it right before the offering, right? It ran up and then it did the offering, so it strengthened the balance sheet and it made it even more of an attractive buy for GNS. And if I were him, what I would have done was I would have bought that entire dip and then I would have I'd go ahead and I'd do a tender offer to do a hostile takeover if they can't come to terms.
Okay, but GNS went down.
Yeah, like I said, the acquiring company always goes down usually. Not always, but.
But don't you think that had something to do with him, like splitting his listing or dual listing? I mean.
Absolutely not, because the cap remains the same.
Yeah, I know, but people didn't like it, is what I'm saying.
Just because people doesn't like something doesn't mean that that's not how market theory works. So that's the point that I'm trying to make. And by me saying that, what I think what happened was I think people took their money out of GNS and put it into TRKA.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, think about I'll
tell you from experience. I just want to tell you this because I already experienced this with a stock. It's not a very good stock, but I mean, I was trying to flip it for some cash. But the same thing happened with JUPW, Jupiter Wellness. As soon as they listed on Upstream, their stock tanked.
Yeah, but you want to know the cool thing that I noticed about JUPW? Didn't they have a coupon that you could sell on Upstream for $190 or something like that?
Yeah, they were offering as long as you had shares, December 22nd or something like that.
Okay, so that right there is another way that we could make that we could earn money. So now my thought is that with the whole dual uplisting, right? They could offer coupons. Now this is a media company, right? What do media companies do? They go ahead and create brands, and it'd be perfect for like an Upstream, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, that may be the case, but what would offset you though, right? Is if you had those shares, or if you got that $190 coupon, right? You could have went and sold however many $190 coupons that you had, and I'm sure it would add up, and you'd be pretty damn close to what you had lost if you did lose anything at all. Per how many though? Like how many shares did you have to have in order to get like a coupon?
It didn't matter. It didn't specify as far as I understand. It was just as long as you had a position on December 22nd or whatever it was, then you're eligible to get this coupon, but you had to prove your position.
So to me, that sounds like they didn't handle it the best way. Obviously, I mean, anyone would want to go ahead and buy a $5 stock or whatever the hell it was, you know what I mean, and then go ahead and sell it, you know, immediately thereafter, in order to go ahead and receive the coupon for $190, and then be able to be up net $185. You know what I mean? But I think it depends more so on how you structure it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was just like, I think they were the first to uplist on Upstream, and I think that's they weren't prepared. Didn't really, you know, they were kind of weathering the water.
No, absolutely. And you know what? Honestly, like we are in uncharted territory. I mean, I think it's very, very clear that this has never happened before. That we've never been this far underwater. But you know, to look at this stock, this, you know, TRKA, to know that like the percentile out on loan was as high as it was, right? And then to look at the naked short report and look at the short volume and see that over the past month, only, you know, what was it? It was literally like the last possible day that we could see, right? That it was under 50%. So obviously the shorts have control of the price tag, and it's still doing what it's doing. So how fucked like are they if it's still going up, if the short volume is, you know, higher than the long volume? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I know they're fucked. Everybody knows they're fucked. And the only people that are bailing on this stock are the people that are scalping for profits, and that's just fueling the shorts.
Yeah, no, I mean, people were honestly hopping in my stream today and telling me to short TRKA. And as soon as that was the first time that ever happened, right? And as soon as that started happening, I knew something was going to happen. You know what I mean? Once the fudsters come out, I mean, you're kind of hot on some kind of trail.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you kind of get a sense of it when it has a pretty good run, and then it comes down pretty quick. You know that somebody's trying to scoop some shares.
Notice how the last, so when it's come down, right? It's been on low volume as well. I think that that's very, very important for people to understand, because it's much easier to bounce back if, you know, we're down on low volume.
Yeah, because it takes next to nothing to pump it back up there.
Give me 1 second. Someone's requesting to speak, and I'm trying to figure this out.
Okay, I'm done. I'll take off later when I'm stuck.
What up, kid? What up, kid? Kid, you gotta unmute.
Yo, all right. So here's my thoughts. So they've clearly demonstrated now that the float was not the 300 something million that everybody was convinced it was, right? Because they've now settled with liquidated damages. I think that like this is going to signal to every party that's been looking at this stock for a long time that all of the FUD that's been circulating that is not true. I think that in addition to that, because a lot of the different brokers were listing the float as being 344 million or 300 million or all the different varying sizes that we were seeing, which was already confusing and fucking indicative that nobody knew what was going on. I imagine that a lot of short positions opened up based on the belief that they can locate shares based on that float size. So now that this is going to change very, very quickly, I think that, and we're already seeing in the after hours right now that the price has like jumped up to 28 cents, right? So that's like a massive increase just based on this AK. I think we're going to see like a huge closing of short positions because this allows a lot of room for, like you guys were talking about, some acquisitions. I think it also opens up a possibility for a reverse split, depending on whether or not those terms change from Blue Torch or whether or not they maintain those terms. So I think we're still going to be needing to wait on more news to determine like what the general direction is. However, I think that there's something very indicative of like the fact that they noted in that form that they're going to register all those shares on May 15th, which is the day after they were given that delisting notice from the stock exchange. So that means they have every intention of meeting compliance by that time.
My opinion is that we're looking at either a merger or an acquisition.
I think so too. That's where I immediately, like, my immediate desire, and based on like all of the information and breadcrumbs that we've been given so far, kind of points me to is like, this is a merger and acquisition. Like, this company is like getting acquired just based on their performance already, and the fact that we haven't seen any insiders start to sell kind of tells us that. And that could change next week, of course. They just listed this. So, like, if we start seeing insiders sell, then that changes the entire thesis. But I think, like, worst case scenario, we see a reverse split.
Didn't
worst case.
Didn't Mr. Coates get in for, like, over $1?
Yeah, he did. And that's honestly been one of the reasons why I've been holding for so long, is because Peter Coates has a cost average that is above that, right? So and he's got enough of a share percentage of the company, he has ownership enough that he's now an insider, right? So he has access to a lot of this information. So if he like found out or felt at any point that his investment was gonna get fucked, then I'm sure that he would have started exiting his position. We would have seen that, right? Because that would have been filed because of his insider position and the size of his holdings.
Not only that, but I think we would have had higher volume going down because, like I said, on the red days, they've all been subpar on average too.
Absolutely, and that's something like, so a group of traders and I kind of like have been theorizing about this and sitting together, is that like what have we've been seeing about like the price action since the like sell off at 99 cents is we've been seeing profit cycling using short exempts, right? Because we see that like short exemptions will drop, the volume of short exempts will drop, and then we'll rocket up like 30%, right? So we saw last week that we went up to 30 cents and we capped out there and we hit a natural resistance, and then we started seeing, if you follow charts and you do technical analysis, that we were seeing like unnatural breaks in patterns, right? Because usually whenever you see a sell-off happening, you see a drop, and then you see a bit of a consolidation, and then you see another drop to another consolidation and another support level, and it kind of stair steps its way down. We weren't seeing that. We were seeing sell-offs like blast through support levels, which is not a natural price action, which tells me that either a market maker or a hedge fund or an institution with short positions in Troika was letting off of pressure, letting the price run up, and then grinding it back down in order to short it back down. So I think that we were in a profit cycling scheme for a little bit there while we were waiting for news. And I think that's because if you were also looking at dark pool action, that we were seeing like 70% of orders getting routed into the dark pool. So I think we've had consistent buy pressure that has been getting routed off exchange, so it's not influencing the price as much. And now that this news has come out, we're going to see much larger buy pressure. And I think probably the profit-making scheme that they've got is probably going to end here, especially now that this confirms the possibility and opens up the possibility for a merger and acquisition, right? Because one of the things that I was afraid of for a while there was that if a merger and acquisition was going to come, there was a potential, because of the number of shares outstanding, that some kind of some hostile shareholders who had short positions could block a merger and acquisition vote in a shareholder meeting. Which was my only like big point of FUD for an M&A. But now that those damages have been settled, and it's become clear that these Series E shareholders are willing to play ball with the company, opens up a huge realm of possibilities, and really assures us as shareholders that the company is intent on getting at least above $1. I don't know how they're going to do it yet, and like you said, my feeling is that it's going to be a merger and acquisition, because you don't bring in a capital reinvestment restructure advisor like Jefferies just to do a reverse split. That doesn't make any sense. That is a waste of their money because a reverse split can be done by any Yahoo on any executive team. It's not a difficult process.
Another thing to think about is because of the revenue growth, right? How do you even like come up with the valuation? Because we know how the valuations have been across the market, right? The valuations have been, left, right, sideways. Like they don't even like match the assets that like a company has, right? How do you go ahead and how do you like even come up with an offer price on a company that's growing so fast?
So, like the offer price is based on a couple of different things. So obviously they have to go through liabilities, and now that some of the damages have been settled, that's kind of off the table. They also have to assess based on like the current market. And right now we're going into a market crash. Anybody that tells you that the market is not preparing for one of the biggest crashes we've ever seen is not paying attention to all the warning signs flashing. But thankfully, most of us rejects trade penny stocks, and penny stocks tend to do okay even during in those scenarios because they're low float. So I think what we're gonna see is, I think, like, then this is where some hopium starts to come out of me, and like we start to kind of like move away from the realm of reason. Is at the very least, we are going to see minimum of $1.50 if their merger and acquisition is coming out. $1.50 a share.
So I personally don't like to put ceilings on potential short squeezes. That's just my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but my thought is that once they go ahead and they announce the GNS's offer, right? That right there is gonna go ahead and bring the current trading price to whatever that price is.
Their offer is absolutely is.
Now the thing though is what if they go ahead and they say no? That might even be even more bullish then, because then.
Well, and that's. Sorry, go ahead, man.
No. So I was just gonna say because that might even go ahead and that might say, hey, we might have other offers, other better offers, or we just think that we're that strong of a company, that we don't even need them. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do, and I agree. So if anybody's looked at Roger Hamilton's Twitter feed, he's deleted the tweet about the offer that he gave to Troika, which speaks to a couple different things. Either the offer was rejected outright, in which case a piece of me feels like he would say something if the offer was rejected, or he's now signed a non-disclosure agreement.
I think that he signed the NDA, and I think that they made him yank it, to be quite honest. But the damage is already done because now we know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. That's where my mind kind of leans. But I also don't. I do not trade on single assumptions. I only ever invest based on all of the possibilities, right? I look at like everything that could happen and shake out and kind of weigh the likelihoods and weigh the costs. And so when it comes to a merger and acquisition valuation, it comes not just from current revenues. And if you read through their earnings, the revenues were actually really, really strong. The profit was not as great as we would have liked, but that was because of a lot of like one-time penalties and costs associated with the merger and acquisition of Converge last year, as well as them not registering the shares in time for the Series E and a bunch of other things, right? Those were not necessarily the business costs where they couldn't create a profit because of their price of revenue is like really, really high. So what will happen now is there will be a series of evaluations that come in that look at Troika's potential profits, like projected profits and revenue for next year as well. And if we look at the growth in revenue for Troika alone, in 6 months, they did about $150 million of revenue. And that's while simultaneously balancing all of this other bullshit that's been happening. So the projected revenue will, at the very least, take into account another year.
Hi, Patriot. Welcome to chat.
Or 3, depending on like what.
Guys, come join the space on YouTube.
They feel about their ability
on Twitter.
To maintain profit, and that will determine any acquisition offers. right? And then you take out, like, how much do they have to pay off, like, Series E preferred shareholders, how much liabilities do they have to cover, all of that stuff will come. And then I think you're absolutely right, because that's usually what happens during a merger and acquisition, is that once a buyout offer is fielded and announced, and the share price is announced, usually the share price runs up to that. Now, the trick with this company now is because
It's just
there is
at
probably
Buzz
a
margin
huge
call.
amount of short positions on this company now because of the beliefs about dilution is how quickly will this run up to that? Because shorts will start closing as soon as that buyout offer comes. And will this run up past that offer based on the number of the buy pressure as well as shorts closing? That's where this becomes tricky.
Not only that, but like I was saying with the naked short report and them having over 50% for the past month, right? But they're just opening new short positions. And as you said about TA, I study TA as well. I mean, I could tell that it was laughable as it was dropping. I couldn't help myself. I just kept buying it and buying it and buying it. And I think my average is like 21 cents or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it just like there's so many bullish cases to make for it. And I'm sitting here trying to like think about what I'm not thinking about, if that makes sense. Like I'm trying to think about like the downside of the trade, but I can't really find one at this moment.
Yeah. The only potential downside I can come up with at this point is if they, for some reason, for unknown ridiculous reasons, do a reverse split in order to get back to compliance. And then if any buyout offers that have been fielded are rejected as a result of returning to compliance, in which case short positions will grind this right back down under $1. That's the only potential I can see for this completely flipping and falling apart.
So
and if that,
my thought is, so you know how you said Peter Coates his average was over $1, right?
yeah,
So somebody that's that smart, right, and has that much money, right? Do you think that they would go ahead and let their company drag out, or do you think that they would, obviously want the best for, their shareholders, including himself heavily, right? Or do you think that they would, pull like a muln and dilute the ever living piss out of it? You know what I mean?
I think so. To kind of just clarify, like my understanding of this. So I was part of the muln squeeze last like April, February, the one that ran it from like 50 cents to $4. And the reason I got out of that position and got out of that squeeze, I didn't hit the top of that. I got out of that because I watched an interview with the CEO of muln, and he demonstrated that he's a fucking clown. At that point, I knew that this was like not a company that was going to succeed under his leadership, and so I haven't touched muln since. And I've watched a bit of like a lot of the like manipulation and outright like investors fraud that has occurred, where he's been like hyping up the price and then diluting the fuck out of it. The dude is going to get punished for that. But with that being said, if you look at the credentials of the executive team of Troika, which is one of the reasons why I got into it before the run-up last month, on top of the PR about the S1 withdrawal, as well as Jeffries getting in. So I got in there about the 28 cents mark before it started running up. And that was because I did my due diligence and I saw that Sid Tawama is an exceptionally experienced CEO. The man has a stellar resume. Yeah. I do not see him conducting any investor securities fraud where he's going to fuck around with the share price and screw over investors, especially because he's also got a significant position and they've got huge insiders like Peter Coates in this. And he has experience running companies like McLaren. And the moment you start doing those things, your ability to move into another company and be able to join another executive team as a CEO evaporates. You get blackballed because no company, unless it's a predatory company, in which case like the goal of the board is to do that kind of shit. But I think obviously, do I think a reverse split is going to happen? Do I think they're going to dilute? Do I think like all of these horrible things are going to happen? No, if I thought those things were going to happen, I would sell my position as soon as this run-up like opens back up on Monday, and I would get the fuck out. However, I'm intending on holding until we see like what the buyout fields are offered or what the next PR is, because now this current PR is just proof that the company is actually doing work to get out from under their shitty position. And they're succeeding, right? Like the people they're negotiating with are playing ball, and like that is the most bullish fucking thing that we can see right now. Because that was always the worry, was that there were going to be hostile parties in this equation that were going to block any attempts to return to compliance, and that doesn't seem to be the case.
No, well, see, I think that they tried to do that, right? But they're getting blasted because they have no thesis. So it's like they tried to do it, but it's a company that didn't deserve to be shorted.
Oh, absolutely. And when I say hostile parties, I don't mean like obviously like there's a market maker that's been fighting with Jeffries. Like if you've been seeing like the level 3 orders that have been flying back and forth, and for anybody else like listening to this, you can actually see like you can get different kinds of services that allow you to see like off exchange purchases and like everything that's flying back and forth. And for the past month or so, like two or more parties have been throwing like 20,000 share buys and sells back and forth at each other off exchange. And that's been part of why we've been grinding down. So yes, I absolutely agree. There was a thesis, and there were some parties that were intending to seller box Troika and make it grind down. And that was because of the thesis of the company with the huge dilution and everything like that. And I agree, like that party is there. What I mean by hostile parties, though, about blocking attempts to return to compliance was worries about potentially like blue torch financing being predatory and actually like looking to have the company like, because the terms of the loan that they did for them to acquire Converge were fucked up. Those are bad terms. And so my worry because of those terms was that Blue Torch was actually doing a $75 million investment in order to get Converge and then sell it for parts. That was my worry.
So
that doesn't seem to be the case.
So that makes sense. What's going on through my mind, right, is well, first of all, Roger Hamilton, in my opinion, is a G. And I think if I were to just go ahead and just have one guess, my guess would be is that he's going to go ahead and he's going to try to acquire. Obviously, he's going to go ahead and use that to his advantage with trying to get these other CEOs involved. They could go ahead and help with coupons, and it's going to be a low overhead business. All media companies are, right? And then if he wants to, later on, he could spin it off as well.
Absolutely. And I think like if they accept Roger Hamilton's offer, I think that will likely be the case. I think he will also try to move Troika over to the blockchain exchange he's moving GNS over to.
I think absolutely. What are your thoughts on providing like an extrinsic value via coupons, right? So like for instance, okay, let's talk Roger for a minute, right? So Roger has Entrepreneur Resorts, okay? What if a dividend was literally like a round trip? Like you'd have to own so many shares or something, right? What if it was like a round trip and like I don't know, like a week or a 10-day stay at his Entrepreneur Resorts? Can you imagine how much extrinsic value that would add and liquidity to the situation?
I think it depends on like who they're trying to market those things to, because I think the average retail trader like yourself and myself, I honestly don't give a shit about coupons. Like I don't give a fuck, right? And like because my goal, to be perfectly frank, is to make money, right? I want to make money on these trades. I want to be able to do the things that I want with my life, and getting coupons is not the way to do it.
What if you could sell the coupons?
However, and that's what my follow-up point is. If they use the coupons as a dividend, that changes the game. And if you only produce a limited number of coupons based on like the actual shares, because that's like if anybody follows like the GME saga and stuff like that and is involved with it, as well as there was a company, I think it was Overstock, that actually won a case because they issued NFT dividend in order to get past a lot of like naked short positions, and it really drove the price up as a result. If Roger Hamilton issues these coupons as a dividend with a limited number, then that means that any naked short positions or any synthetic positions that are open on that stock, suddenly all these short sellers have to purchase these coupons on the aftermarket in order to satisfy their obligations to provide the dividends to the shares they're borrowing. That will drive up the price of coupons.
Well,
and you don't need to keep the coupons; you can just sell them.
Yeah. And that's my thought is like, you know, it you know, as you had said, it just adds extra value to, you know, and reason to hold. That's what I see. And especially if it becomes one company, you know what I mean? If GNS completes the merger, I know that the Entrepreneur Resorts, I believe, I forget when the record date was, but I know it already passed, right? But if he's running the show and it was a spinoff of his company, I mean, he could make it work realistically. At least that's my thought.
You've got your hands up, man. What's up?
Okay, so when you guys are thinking about the coupons, we got to think about it outside of his company. So let's say they're doing a commercial for Coca-Cola or whatever products that you use, and then they would put an expense, you know, to that product or service, and then you could redeem it that way too. So that's like a super
join the space,
super added value.
I absolutely agree with that, actually. I mean, I'm a huge fan of business models, specifically low overhead, high income, and that's exactly what this seems to be. And then on top of that, it just seems like now we have so many catalysts, and honestly, the stock didn't even need catalysts, I felt like. That's why I invested in it, because of what the chart was telling me. And then, you know, obviously the catalysts are a bonus.
Yeah.
Likewise, and then just the data that, you know, redeeming a coupon and you know, even just dealing with the blockchain, the amount of precise.
I lost you for a second there, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, you cut out there, Dylan.
Oh, sorry about that. The data that you can collect with the blockchain, you know, issuing digital coupons and NFTs. It's just, you know, it's almost unfathomable of how much it's worth to a company, you know, because data is everything, you know, with all these litigations going on with social media and everything else. So,
I mean, obviously, there's only a handful, maybe like 5 stocks on Upstream at this point. I haven't checked Upstream in like probably like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? I have it downloaded on my phone, but I haven't been on it. There's like 5 companies. So if TRKA goes ahead and handles, you know, the coupons and the dividends, and they're the first ones to do it, they have a first mover's advantage as well. And I think that that's something that is also very, very, very important, especially when we're talking about the blockchain, because then they could go ahead, you know, and develop it with Upstream simultaneously.
absolutely. And then, you know, Rogers, I mean, he's basically making entrepreneur incubator, and, you know, they go on to make businesses and they need to go to market. So they're going to need branding, marketing, media. He's going to need videos and, you know, for his classes or whatever. So, I mean, it's, you know, when he says synergy, he found a good one.
Well, I mean, he stood up for the shareholders, realistically. I'll be honest, at first, right? I was kind of pissed that he did what he did by tweeting about it before that like major run, right? Because I had not taken a position. One of my subscribers was actually in it. His bottom fill was like 11 cents or 12 cents, right? And he's been in it. He's been DCAing it for like the last like 8 months or something like that. And he's been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And I didn't have any liquidity at the time, and it took off, and I felt like I was too late, so I just didn't. I wasn't paying attention. But then after that first drop, right, I started to feel like it was a bull trap. Then the offering dropped, and obviously people started to panic sell, and people got all confused, and that's when I started to load the dip. And I don't think that a lot of people are reading these filings, or if they are reading the filings, they're not understanding them, because I don't understand, where they could see, a bearish sentiment here.
Agreed. I mean, there's no scenario that I see as a downside. And, like you, I've been asking and searching. I'm looking for a reason for this not to be, such a great find. So
and that's the scary thing about Troika, and the reason why I was super hesitant during the last run up, and it was because all of the cards are aligned, man. All of the stars are aligned on this stock. Like, this thing is poetic. And so when situations do come to be too good to be true like that, we have to exercise a lot of healthy caution.
However, at the same time, though, we have to know what we have.
Exactly. And so then, which is why I've always stayed in, right? Like as soon as that drop happened, like, I took my profits and then got back in when we crashed back down to sub 20. And I think that as much as Roger Hamilton gets a lot of flack for being, like, coming across as a bit of a grifter, like, the dude is, like, he rubs people the wrong way. You either love him or hate him. He was quite offended during the sell-off that occurred. And at the time, I thought it was inauthentic, and I thought it was, like, this guy just trying to, like, be a shark and try to get in good with retail so that he could potentially continue to be part of this process. But I do genuinely believe now that he tweeted about the offer from GNS in a way to kind of help support retail traders to get back into Troika before this starts moving, because he did feel bad about, like, the retail traders that got burned by that sell-off. Because there were people, and I know people, who bought into Troika at, like, 90 cents, 80 cents, and they're like, and they either sold for a huge loss or they're deeply underwater right now.
One thought that I have about him, and I like I said, at first I was kind of pissed about Roger, like what he had, like, let us into, but then I kind of thought about it. What if he went ahead with an offer out of spite, almost? Like, what if he has been acquiring, what if he did start to acquire in a position as it was dropping, right? Just because he saw the value, just like you and I do, right? And then he could go ahead and, get, like, show retail that A, he could go ahead and he could help his own business, but B, he's there for us because, look what happened. It dropped off, but yeah, they went ahead and immediately dropped an offering for him. You know what I mean?
I think that I don't think that Roger Hamilton was accumulating shares. And the reason why I don't think that is because if he had been accumulating shares and then announced the post about GNS doing an offer, now that he's deleted that tweet, because, like, the thing is like, the man, like, anybody with a brain, if you're following and invested in Troika, and Troika's got a bit of a cult following, anybody that denies that is not paying attention, that any indication of a buyout coming was going to drive up the share price, even temporarily. And so if he had been acquiring shares before then and then tweeted that with the knowledge that share price was going to rise, there is a strong case for him being litigated for market manipulation. So I don't think he has a single share of Troika.
So here's one thought it's going through my head, basically. So near the lows, right? I was seeing blocks for, I don't know, like 400,000 shares at a time, right? 346,000 shares at a time, but they were all slapping the ask with it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, though, if, like, he didn't know about the offering, right? And then after the offering, on the drop, that's when I'm talking about him, like, potentially accumulating shares. Because that then I don't think would be market manipulation, because they did the offering. They went against what his thesis was. Obviously, like you said, he expressed how he was pissed off, right? But then he potentially could have done something about it.
Absolutely. So, like, I think there's a lot of information that we don't have access to. But I think, like, probably, like, outside of any speculation about what the future moves of TRKA are or the future moves of GNS, I think that this 8K filing that came out today, I kind of anticipated it, because if you recall the last long weekend back in February when they released the PR about S1 filings being withdrawn, I kind of suspected that this was the play that they were going to make, right? Because what a better way to build up retail FOMO than to do a PR and have retail wait 3 days before they can buy into this stock. So I think that we're headed in a really, really positive direction. I think that we're going to be grinding up. I think that before we hear any more news, though, I think people should be cautious about the price action and should set realistic, like, risk management expectations.
I agree. I do want to go ahead and I do want to address, though, because we've been seeing, light volume on the way down, that volume could just, spike right up and we could just go parabolic in a heartbeat. A lot of this movement, it seems artificial to me.
I agree. I don't know if this movement after hours is artificial.
Oh,
I
no,
do
I agree.
that the movement that we've seen the last, like, 3 weeks since the sell-off at 99 cents, I do agree that it's been a lot of artificial movement and it's been highly, highly manipulated.
So, now, knowing that most of the time the acquirer goes down and then the acquisition goes up, right? What are your thoughts about the recovery that GNS had at some point today? I don't know what they closed at, but I remember looking at them and they were trying to recover. I am under the impression that until we see anything from GNS regarding an offer price, I don't know how strongly I feel about GNS, if that makes sense.
I think I agree. Like, I would not jump into GNS at this point because still we're seeing a downward trend. I think waiting to see how this plays out, whether or not GNS actually is the company that's acquiring TRKA, if there's an acquisition happening, will be telling. But would I jump into GNS, like, right now, like, with its current share price and with the current level of speculation and information we have? No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't touch it.
I'm with you.
GNS could go sub $1, easy.
Oh, I'm with you on that. I'm literally sitting here just trying to think about, like, what I'm missing, and I don't really find too many flaws in the trade. I was actually, mentioning on my stream all day, I was like, this seems like the biggest layup that I've, like layup trade that I've had in a little minute. And, I mean, look at it. You know what I mean? Like, it has everything that we would, normally look for. Right, like, it has the crowd, and like you said, a cult following. That's why I'm actually hosting a space tomorrow. We actually have a planned space with a hedge fund manager that actually he's an ex hedge fund manager that hangs out on my stream all day, and we're gonna be able to pick his brain and then be able to go ahead and see what the other side may be thinking about the situation. But he told me, as say that GNS offers $20. Okay, and there's no justification for that, right? There's no justification for $20 price. I'm just picking a number, right? Then theoretically, TRKA would have to, somehow come up with a way to get to $20. You know what I mean? Like that. That's the whole point. We got to wait on GNS news almost. Like,
I don't think TRKA. If an offer comes in, TRKA won't have to do a thing. I think that retail and institutions will buy in and they will push up that price themselves.
Why what?
Because as soon as that offer comes out, it will be guaranteed profit, right? And for those of us that have gotten
Bitcoin's ripping levels,
too. We're going to benefit very, very strongly from any offer. Like, even if an offer comes in for, say, sub $1, right? And this is like the most pessimistic outlook. Like, maybe TRKA is just like selling the company, everybody's cutting their losses and getting the fuck out. even if that happens, right now we're still very profitable, and we are guaranteed to see any price action below that point will rise to meet that point as people expect to make money.
I mean, if this stock was at 50 cents, I'd still think it was a layup. Obviously not financial advice, but like it just...
Yeah, none of this is financial advice. Do not come into this meets. We're a bunch of... We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get sick of saying it. I say it all day on YouTube, but, like, it just... Looking at the numbers, it does not make sense to me how the percentile on loan could be as high as it was, and then to see the volume naked shorted for the entire month. How in the hell did they clear any of those shorts out other than, you know, just like the offering? So they could have done the offering, yeah, right? And then they could have bought that dip, but we were buying that dip too. You know what I mean? So now that this information is coming out, it just seems like they're going to be, it's going to be like dog eat dog as far as the hedge funds go.
I agree. I think it's going to be a mad scramble to get out of positions. I think that any institutions that had short positions have already been probably cycling out, which is why we've been seeing a drop in short interest, like from like 7% to 4% if you've used Ortex at all. Like we've been seeing shorts covering and getting out. I think that also this, if you've been listening to this meet for a little bit, I kind of mentioned a profit cycling scheme that we've been seeing for the last couple of weeks, where we've been seeing like huge spikes, and then we've been seeing like grind down like below where we were. I think that the market makers at the very least have been getting out of their FTD and
watch for the next leg.
Short exempt obligations doing that. I think they've been slowly clearing those positions and probably making profit doing it. So I think that, like, in terms of those market makers needing to, like, run and, like, get out of a burning building, I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a lot of retail short positions. We're going to see some smaller institution short positions. They're going to start trying to claw their way out.
So I actually just had somebody tell me that this was on CNBC as well. So we're talking about FOMO from there now as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet in my opinion. But I know that we're going to experience a lot of FUD. And like you said about this being like a cult following, I want this to, like, I just want to make sure that we're all sharing the right information and the correct public information rather than all speculating separately. And then just hearing each other. Sorry about my dog. I got to let him out in a second. But anyways, I just want to hear everybody else's ideas and, you know, obviously have the best information possible. I'm sorry. I had to let him out. Kid, I can't hear you. Can you try to reconnect? Yo, Swing, would you do me a favor and tell Kid that I can't hear him?
Kid, Buzz can't hear you at all. Can you hear me? Nah, he dipped out.
All right. Hopefully he reconnects.
He said he had to go.
Oh, okay. What do you think about it, Swing?
I'm kind of waiting on the offering.
Oh, what, on the offering price itself?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to how it shakes out between Roger Hamilton and if that is, in fact, you know, like a real offer, and if they accept it, that would be fantastic.
Well, see, the whole thing is that when he went ahead and when he just put out an offering, you know, it almost like sparked a fire, right? Because now TRKA has to either come up to whatever the offer is, even if it's an unreasonable offer, right? They have to come up to that share price or they're committing fiduciary fraud against us, right? Or am I wrong about that? Someone tell me if I'm wrong, please.
I don't think it's fiduciary. I don't think it's fraud in any way, shape, or form. I think that it's a legitimate offer. Whether he used social media or not, he had already put that offer out there to them, TRKA. I think it would be a great acquisition. Not gonna lie. If it's a business plan, if it's a business model, and it also goes along with what they're trying to do with CEO Block. So, just a thought.
Honestly, I 100% agree with you, and I'm literally just mind blown at how great of a setup this is. It's almost too good. I'm trying to find the flaws, but I need help finding them, per se. I mean, as far as like the what's it called goes, as far as like the blockchain goes, do you have any thoughts on the blockchain and what other companies in Upstream, like connecting with Upstream, like what that could do?
So I've got a pretty decent, or I have a sizable amount of GNS and TRKA in addition to like a ton of other tickers, but I like what I hear from the folks from Upstream. I like what the CEO of CRTD, which is now I'm drawing a brain fart, so forgive me. It's been a long week.
VOCL, I think.
Jeremy Frommer.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, okay. So I like what they're doing. There are going to be some massive swings, though. I mean, if there's no news in between, like an announcement or anything else like that, I'm going to sell it because it's going to drop exponentially, and it has. And I've been day trading. Few of them I've been swing trading. They've been holding their ground. The charts look pretty decent, but I don't know. As of right now, it was a pretty decent day. Made some money. So how Upstream handles their transactions, the dual listing thing is, I mean, it's new to me. So I'm trying to figure out how all that works out and how these NFTs or coupons work on it. I'm going to transfer half of my position to Upstream and kind of see how it plays out. So.
No, I absolutely hear you. I'm just thinking about the potential revenue growth here, and like you said with CEO Block, right? If he locks this acquisition down, he could essentially help rebrand these companies right on Upstream using TRKA, and then that only further helps GNS then ultimately. All right, now question: do you guys think that it would be some type of merger, or do you think that it would be an acquisition straight up?
Are you talking between GNS and TRKA?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it would definitely be an acquisition, from what I read anyway.
That's what I'm thinking. And I think that would make things much easier as far as figuring out immediately like what a dollar figure would be, on what this is going to go to. I've been making the example about Twitter. How Elon made that offer, he paid, well more than what it was worth, right? But as soon as he made that offer, he made it so the Twitter board had to make it worth his while. Now, the SEC might, have something to say about it, but in this circumstance, I mean, do we think that the SEC can really do anything? I mean, he tweeted, he did tweet about it, and he expressed his frustration, right? But do we think that that's as far as market manipulation?
In my personal opinion, no. I mean, okay, whether it was a filing or an announcement, they're going through it may not be the normal process, and let's be honest, FINRA, the SEC, they've kind of, in my opinion, have dropped the ball so many times. They can try to come after people like Elon or Roger Hamilton, but they have legitimate reasons for concerns. I mean, do you want all these companies going bankrupt and just like not being listed on the NASDAQ?
I mean, my thought is, I mean, Elon went ahead and made the Doge dog like a part of Twitter. So like Elon's in like a different category, in my opinion. I don't think that Roger did anything wrong, unless he knew about the offering prior to the offering. that's when I believe it would be stock manipulation.
Wait. Hold on. Knew about the offer. Okay, so Roger reached, or, he decided to make an offer to purchase TRKA.
No, I'm talking about the offering from TR. Okay, so you know how there was I'm sorry, not there was a redemption of what the of those shares, right? And there was all that confusion, right?
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, that's gonna go ahead and that's gonna shock the share price, which we saw. Okay. Now, if as long as he didn't know about that, right? Then I can't see where anyone would be able to make a case for stock manipulation. However, if he knew about that, then that's when we'd be, kind of in that category. Does that make sense?
Yeah, now I pick up what you're putting down. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, in my personal opinion, from everything that I've heard, listened to, whether it was a YouTube video, all of these things that these CEOs are doing, it's my personal belief that they're doing the things the right way. Okay, because I mean, look, people are fined, arrested, categorized as just bad actors, or they're just in it for themselves. They're only worried about the bottom dollar, which I get. But I personally believe Roger Hamilton is a stand-up guy, number one. Number two, he's got a pretty solid business model. And even though their stock is getting beaten down from, their highs, but they canceled that offering, and now they're trying to reach out to acquire other companies. So in my personal opinion, they've got a strong business model where they can actually offer that. And I think it's a double-edged sword. They're not only helping TRKA, but they're helping their business. And to me, it makes sense. Now, I do agree with you. If there was some information that was not divulged or something like that, yeah, there's a very good possibility that the SEC could see it a different way.
I mean, you know what? It would be their burden to prove that, though, too. You know what I mean? And I don't think that with everything he has going on to the positive, I don't think that he would put himself out there and put himself at such risk in order to go ahead and get popped for something like that when he could go ahead and do it the right way, which it seems like he's doing, and it seems like it's going to be very, very beneficial to us.
Agreed. I mean, I agree with you on the layup, too. I mean, I bought more today of both of them,
So in the short term, then, if you bought more today of GNS, right? Do you see GNS then obviously moving up off of this, even though they're the acquirer?
No, they'll probably dip a little harder. I was looking at the chart today. Probably could see 105 to 107. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I've got a really low cost average. I'm not really worried about that. But there is a high probability it dips. I was doing some charting earlier because, like a dumbass, I was trying to get my garage and my house back in order after the hurricane, whatever, and I moved a fire extinguisher out of my I've got an 18-foot cover trailer that I bought after the hurricane. I was like, I don't want to step on that, so I placed it outside the door. About an hour later, after unpacking all this stuff and getting it back in the garage, I completely forgot about it, stepped on it, and I thought I broke my foot. So I've been sending emails all day, updating a bunch of files, day trading, and having my foot elevated for about 6 hours with ice and this gigantic moon boot half of the day. So personally, I don't think Roger is one of those people that would just throw himself to the wolves and do something that was nefarious. I personally believe he's a good, he's a great speaker, number one. Number two, he's highly intelligent. And number three, they have a great business model. I mean, GNS is a good company. I think this acquisition would be fantastic for them. So
I can't disagree. The only thing that I'm worried about is if they do not accept the offer. But even if they don't accept the offer, they still have the price obligation. You know what I mean? And we could then just go buy GNS straight up if we wanted to, be with Roger. You know what I mean? But say that it is an acquisition. Okay. At that point in time, I mean, this could be a lot bigger than what we, think it is. And this is as big as we want it to be that's the way that I think about it, especially if, he does go ahead and he does follow through and then commits to Upstream.
completely agree with you. And like I said, I was going to give for half of my shares to Upstream. And all of these CEOs that are fighting back against this, naked shorting, if you will, or whatever, Salvatore Paella, and he went from Hellbiz to, what is it now?
MCOM.
Do what?
I think his is MCOM, and then Tides is Octo. We killed that today.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just loving TRKA moving up, 25% after hours, so that's always a bonus. And I'm actually profitable for once.
Dude, I just, all of these different communities, they turn toxic in some way, shape, or form, and I just don't want that to happen to this community. And then I saw obviously the retail sentiment. Like we've been talking about, I felt it was a layup. I actually went ahead and I was talking to another person who's very, very bullish. He's working. He's on Pacific time. We actually had a scheduled space for TRKA to like a meet the community type of space. I tried to put it up in the nest. I don't know if it's there or not, but anyways, it's on my profile. On Friday, so tomorrow, at 10 o'clock, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kind of like, I guess, collect ourselves, see what the rest of After Hours does, and then bounce ideas off of each other. I think everyone here should join. And I think that, we could get a much, bigger outcome of people here, because in all reality, I just decided to do this within 5 minutes. But it's something to look forward to, and I think that we all need to do our DD, realize what we have, and that's pretty much it. I've been streaming all day. I actually have another stream at 9 o'clock regarding precious metals, if anyone's interested. So I am going to go ahead and I am going to close this unless anyone, has questions or anything to say. But, just please tune in tomorrow night. Let's talk about it. And, if you have questions now, think about it. Write them down, and let's all come up with an answer that we all can agree upon. But, anything from you, Swing?
I listened to live stream for a while, so awesome stuff, dude.
Aw, man, I appreciate that. But, alright, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to shut this. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please drop me a like. Please subscribe on YouTube. We talk about TRKA all day. It's getting dicey, guys. It's getting dicey. I will catch you guys tomorrow at 10 or later on at 9. Adios, guys.
Good night, Buzz.
Yeah, yo, AI, did you have something to say real quick before we got off? I'm so sorry.
Oh, are you towards the end of your space?
Yeah, I was just closing it up. I have one at 9 regarding precious metals, and then I have one tomorrow that's gonna be all TRKA.
Okay, well, not really. I'm really just working.
What are you working on? What do you mean?
idea that I'm working on, or that I've seen in the community, is something called like crypto, or it's called swarm intelligence, AI swarm intelligence. Have you heard of AI swarm intelligence?
I've heard of Swarm before, but can you enlighten me on details?
Yeah, so swarm intelligence is when humans or animals,
Upstream is a way to
they
dual
come
list
together and form like
on blockchain.
pretty much like a superhuman. And this idea is that obviously more human brains are better than just one human brain. You know what I mean? And as a collective, you're able to maybe have more traction for specific things. Like they use swarm intelligence for picking the winners.
It is another platform. It's on download Upstream on your phone.
The horse races, for example. And so they use AI to really showcase this technology, right?
Okay. I think that there could be a lot of AI and blockchain involved with Upstream and the coupons, especially that we're speaking about. But I think that that would be something that we should cover tomorrow, a little bit more in depth.
Because the main thing is that Michael Saylor holds the most Bitcoin out of anybody in the world, and he could put $1 billion of Bitcoin into anything, and it's going to, influence. You put $1 billion into anything, it's going to influence the market, right?
I mean, yeah.
So then it's become, okay, well, Michael Saylor, this Bitcoin maxi, if he were to incorporate this swarm intelligence, he could really put that $1 billion and turn it into a lot more money for everybody in the world.
I mean, so the key here is that we're talking, like specifically about TRKA. My thought is my only other thought is and this would be actually very bullish, is if there were multiple bidders. That's the only thing I could think of. But
I don't really know what TRKA is, but if somebody put $1 billion into it, I'm sure it would influence the market, right?
Well, I guess all I could really say is that it seems like it has the fundamentals. It seems like it has the catalysts, and I guess we'll see. You know what I mean? But I am gonna shut this down. I'm kind of beat, and I gotta recoup because I do have this space here in 2 hours, and I do have some stuff that I gotta do. But you should tune in tomorrow at 10, and we could cover a lot more stuff.
Yeah, maybe we could talk a little bit more in the back end.
Yeah, bro. Just throw me a DM. That's cool.
All right.
All right, later, fam. Later, guys. Catch you tomorrow. All right, later, guys. Appreciate all y'all. And welcome to chat to everybody here.